You tonight. I am really excited about our call tonight. We were chatting on our Jewel call about some of the things that we want to focus on this year. And one of those areas is focusing on this month is really talking about really what it looks like to grow our audience and to have awesome content that draws them in. And because a lot of us have been around for a while, right? If you have been sharing on social media for longer than a month, you know that content and adding it to your network is something that is so important. We are going to talk a lot on our next call about how to grow our network, how to really expand that, how to get in really good conversations, how to deepen our connections with our existing network, but how to create leads. So in 2 weeks, we are going to talk all about that lead generation, what it looks like to have new growth coming in. Because one of the things that I see in this business is that we stall in our recruitment and duplication when we are not continually adding new people to our network. And when we're kind of saying the same thing to the same people year after year after year. So we're going to dive into that. But before we do that, we are going to talk all about content tonight because as you are adding new people in, getting new leads, new relationships, connections, if you are bringing them in and you don't have content there where they can get to know you and get to see what you're all about and really be dripping plexus on them, then it's really all for nothing, right? So it's kind of a both and. I'm also going to throw in that content creation is imperative for you as like I said, it's a both and, but with messaging, with reach outs. Okay. Content creation is really just turning on your open sign. It is just simply there to really be like dripping information on people, right? Like slowly. This is not how we get new customers. Okay. It is not the thing that somebody, very rarely are you going to make a post and someone message it, like see that post and message you and say, okay, I'm ready. Like sign me up. Yes, sometimes that happens. But for the most part, your content is simply laying that foundation for your conversations that are happening in Messenger or happening in text or happening in person. Reach outs, number one way to grow your business. Reach outs are so valuable when you are building relationships. Reach outs that are bold and intentional about Plexus. And so we are going to get to that. We're going to talk about leads. We're going to talk about how do you build relationships. We're going to talk about how do you reach out? How do you reach out boldly, not salesy, not scammy, any of that. But before we do that, we want to make sure that your social media is solid. Okay. We want to make sure that your social media really shares your voice, right? We want people to be drawn to you, drawn to your conversation, want to get to know you, want to, kind of jump in this whole thing with Plexus. But it starts with your content. So before we're going to draw people to your account and grow our networks and really focus on really smart, well done reach outs, we're going to focus on let's get our content up and running. Because I think sometimes this is the battle that a lot of us face is just getting stuck in this space of like, nothing's working. I'm not, all the things. Social media is ever changing. I'm going to share my screen for a second. Tonight, we're going to go through just a couple little things about content. I can find how to share my screen. But we are then going to kind of work it out. And we are going to, oh man, y'all see my messy, you don't want to see that. Kyle loses his mind when he sees how many things I have all over my desktop. Dun, dun, dun. I'm one of those people. You're laughing. I'm one of those people that literally has like 100 tabs open. I have things saved all over my desktop. And yet I know where everything is. It makes my husband crazy. He's like, "What is your brain is crazy." I know, I know. Okay, so we're going to jump right into content creation. That's going to be super fast for a lot of you. You know full well a lot of this, but I want to really refresh it and really look at how we can implement it. Okay. I know I have done so many trainings on content, social media over the years, but I find myself rarely doing it. So we're going to jump right into it. Okay. So regarding um, your Plexus business, using social media for your business. Okay. Before Plexus, my social media was simply like random. It was the last thing I thought about. I scrolled usually. I was one of those people that just used my social media to absorb content. And I only like put out random things of my kids so that the grandparents could see it. But when you are sharing Plexus as a business, your social media then becomes your number one marketing tool. Okay. This is so important. These are the three pillars of types of content that we want to create. This is really, really something that when you look at the types of content, we can get stuck in one pillar or the other. But what we want to really do is look at all three different types of content and make sure that what we are doing is divided out equally. Because if we're one content or one pillar heavy, we're really going to struggle to make connection. And so the first one is personal content. And this is the piece that I actually struggle with the most. Okay. This is the content pillar that the majority of our content should be personal. Okay. This is so important in our business that 60% approximately should be what your friends and your family showing your personality, showing who you are. Because as a business owner, your main really enrollments, duplication, retention all comes from, do people like, know, and trust you? This business is relational. And so this piece is so important for your business. Do people know, like, and trust you? And you can build that in a lot of different ways. I put a few different examples. Like it's really, truly being intentional. Now, you don't have to share all the parts of your life, right? You get to choose what parts of your day or your life you want to share, but sharing different struggles that you have overcome in the past, sharing your why why you do this, sharing parts of your parenthood or what you do, what's your hobbies, different things like that. So 60%, you guys, that's a lot. So I want you to really be thinking about the different areas of your life you want to talk about, the areas that you want to show up and share. So yeah, this is all about know, like, and trust you, because when they do that, they will buy from you. Guys, social media is crowded with people selling all kinds of things with affiliate links, new opportunity, all the things, right? So what makes you the person that they are going to buy from, right? They don't buy from companies. They buy from people that they trust. And this is where your retention and your duplication is going to really grow at the more that you share your life. Okay. The second pillar, I named purposeful, but this is really value adding post. Okay. They say about 20% of your post should be some area of content that supports Plexus. Okay. It's not talking about Plexus at all. It supports the healthy lifestyle, the community, your business, all the different things, but it is not about Plexus. So This is adding value. You could add value in maybe a quote that you read in a book, something about personal growth or mindset, health tips and hacks. I've been seeing this all over the place with Plexus people lately, talking about castor oil packs, weighted vests. I literally was influenced by everybody. I'm now doing both of those. But talking about different health hacks, health tips that have nothing to do with Plexus, but yet add value to your audience. Inspiration, engagement post, anything that just adds value to people's lives. Okay. And then the third pillar is promotional. This is really promoting your business, promoting the products, promoting the opportunity. This is where you share about events and all kinds of different things, testimonials, customer wins. This should be about 20% of your post, okay? So we're really heavily building trust with our audience. We're adding value to our audience. And then we are making very bold call to actions with our promo, right? Our promotional post, okay? So these are kind of the three categories. Again, you can really like branch out in a lot of these areas, but really these are the three main pillars of our content. Um, it's fun because you can really you can make each of these your own. So one of the things like adding value, what is something that you do, Kyle and I, when we looked at what do we want, we have nothing really to add value to. So we just make funny reels right now about teenage life because that is our current life right now, is just making fun of the things that we go through on a daily basis. But that adds value. We have had so many, like conversations with other people who are like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I just dealt with that today. So it doesn't have to be, you guys, like, I just read this and it's so inspirational. It can be scripture. It can be all different kind of quotes. It can be any of that. But I really want you to find your voice and look at how can I add value? Like, how can I make somebody's day? Like, give somebody some kind of connection. Okay. So tips and tricks. With social media, the biggest thing is being consistent, whatever that looks like for you. We have some people that come in and haven't posted on their social media, have very little presence on social media. They're consistent as they get going. It's going to look different than somebody that's been showing up on social media year after year. So be consistent. Set a schedule that works for you. For me, my goal of consistency is posting every single day. Back in October, I actually did a business post or a reel. I did it in a lot of different versions, either in my story, a post, or a reel every single day for the month of October. By the end, the first couple of weeks, I didn't get any traction. By the end of October, after 30 days of doing that, I was in so many conversations that were moving forward, talking about the opportunity. So know that this takes time. So make that, okay, what is consistent for me? Is that posting about Plexus in some, way every single day? Or is it, okay, I can commit to doing it 5 days a week. I can commit to doing it 2 days a week. Second is showing your face. This is, again, all about building trust, especially on social media. People want to know you. They want to see your face. They don't want to see, I mean, honestly, it hurts my heart because I love graphics. I love creating them all, but people don't want that. And in fact, social media is moving away from filters. People don't want selfies with filters. People don't want that anymore. They want authentic. They want to know who you are and the real you. So show your face, get away from graphics, and I think you'll see a lot better connection. Another tip is to batch photos. I just did this last week. My husband thought I was crazy because he was like, "What are you doing in there?" I put makeup on and I got dressed, and that does not happen very often. But I sat down and I did almost an hour of a selfie photo shoot, which, you guys, it makes me laugh, but it was so good because I have now photos that I can use at any time. So do a photo session, do something, pull out different products, make, some be real, do your Plexus drinks, different things like that. Just spend an afternoon creating photos and videos so that you can use in the future, right? I recommend doing it once a month because when you do that, you're going to see that you post so much more when you have photos that you can use, right? Um, Captions that tell a story. Don't be afraid of using ChatGPT. You can use it to get some ideas. Or what I've been doing is I'll type out what I want to write, and then I say, ChatGPT, make this sound better, because I am not like at all good with words. And so that's an idea. Of course, you don't even have to use ChatGPT, but if you're struggling with that, do that. And then include a call to action in your captions. And I think this is something that like really helps with engagement with people. Like people read your stuff, they just don't like it or comment on it because so often there's nothing to like, there's no step to do next, right? Like they read it and they're like, oh, that was great. And then they move on. But if you drop like, drop a heart or, hands if you agree, I find that like when I simply give a call to action or ask a question at the end, you're going to see that engagement, and that leads to the conversations in your messenger. Okay. So those are just some tips. Posting frequency. Knowing that 60% of your content should be personal, 20% adding value, and 20% about your products and your business. Posting one time a day is great, but if you've got big goals, the algorithm shows your content to a very small percentage of your people, right? So if you've got big goals for your business and you are really working at growing your connections, growing your network, and getting new enrollments, you guys, I honestly would say that the more posting you do, the better. Still needs to be good quality, but honestly, I see more people are getting more traction with more posting. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be great. Just throw stuff up there. I'm honestly, the more that I post on a daily basis, the more that people are seeing and the more connections. So if you are having some success with once a day, great. Try twice a day. Try, morning and afternoon. Um, and this will allow you then, because if you're doing once a day, okay, one post a day, think about, man, like that's gonna mean that I'm only posting about Plexus like twice a week, right? So think about increasing the amount of posting that you're doing. Also, look at reels and stories and getting really serious about kind of giving your content in all the different channels, okay? Showing up in your stories multiple times a day. I say 5 to 10 times a day. That's probably a bit much for most people. If you can show up in your stories every day, that's a win. But I know that when I show up multiple times throughout the day, my little bubble goes to the front and people are going to see it. So the more that I check in with my stories throughout the day, the more people that see it. And reels. So I kind of feel like reels, carousels, posts, stories, spread your content out in different forms because they all play different roles in your connection. So those are just some ideas. I know most of us like look at that. Your iPad's at 5%. Emergency. The charger's over on somewhere over by the counter. Emergency. So I know a lot of us are like, but what I want for you is to take the next step, right? It's always wherever we're at is we look at it and we're like, okay, our business is, hey, can you get her charger for her iPad? Okay. Our business right now is the result of what we are currently doing. Okay. I mean, it's what we're doing, not that it's bad, but where we are in our business is the result of what we've been doing. And if you're great with that, great. Like keep going. If it's working, if it's not, if you want more, then look at taking your social media up by another level and then another and so on and so on. So for some people, you may have never even done a reel and that scares you and terrifies you. That's okay. Your goal would be to make one reel and to learn and to like work through that process, right? Other people, for me, it's showing my face. I am so like all over the place that I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's my area. I think we all have the different like pieces of like what's my next step of growth. So I want to, as you're looking at all this and like don't freak out, just what is your next step? Okay. So, okay, weekly planner. In the next slide, I have a blank one of these because this is kind of what I want to work on tonight is making a plan. I used to sit down every single Sunday night and make my entire content plan for the week. And I will tell you that the overwhelm in my business quit. Like I was able to like feel very confident. I knew what my content was much better and it really connected with people differently, like so much better. But it also um, helped me to like really have intentionality. I knew what photos I needed to take. I knew what, video I needed. I knew what captions, everything had a purpose. It wasn't like me scrolling and being like, oh, that's good. And then copy paste and throw it up on my social media, which is a rhythm that a lot of us get into because we're just not prepared, right? And so preparation is so, so, so important because it helps us to be in control of our content. It helps us to know where we're going and really take our job. It's kind of like this is our marketing piece. So taking this really seriously of like how important our posting and our content is, especially in this day and age. When I started Plexus 9 years ago, I could literally throw up a glitter graphic of the pink drink and people be like, "Oh, I want that." That's not how social media customers are so different now, right? And now trust matters now more than ever. And so our posting is really, really, really important for this. So this is a weekly planner that you could choose. You could really look at, okay, you could be like, you can make this however you want. For years, I did every week had a like a theme. Every week I did gut health theme, I did weight loss theme, and then I did skincare. You could totally do that. You can do it however you want. But when I was doing this, I really began like, oh man, everything, if I talk all about gut health this week, that means that I can add value all about different things that we are working on with our gut health or our, the foods, the anti-inflammatory foods, all those different things. Then I could talk about different testimonies that had to do with gut health. I could talk about our products that had to do with it. So when you really start looking at who am I talking to and what do I want to share, it gets like all the overwhelm just leaves, right? So here is a weekly planner. And we are going to plan out 1 week of content tonight. Okay. Because when you know what you're going to say or what you're going to talk about, the topics, then you're able to write your captions. You're able to really intentionally really look at, okay, on Monday, I am going to show up in my stories and I'm going to talk about this. And it keeps you accountable, right? Because I don't know if you're like me, sometimes you sit there and you look back on your social media and you scroll back and you're like, oh my word, I have not talked about the business in a month, right? Like it's so easy because we have so much going on in our brain. We're thinking about the business all the time, but are we marketing it? Are we communicating it the way that is going to connect? So this helps us to make sure that things are not falling through. And now that we have every Monday, we have a business call. Every Thursday, we have a product call. That is going to help in creating, like, I was like, oh my goodness, now on Sundays and Mondays, I can divide my week into talking about the business, the first part of the week. Then I can talk about the products the last half of the week. And I know I do this already with the month, right? Like naturally, that's why Magic Week happens. I don't know if you guys like, there's nothing magic about the last week of the month. It's the fact that all of a sudden we're all posting like crazy. Do you guys notice that? Like it's all like we start posting with confidence, we start following up with boldness. You guys, we can do that every week. And so when we have a plan and we really look at, okay, like on Mondays, I know I'm posting about the business. I know I'm talking about that. I know that on Thursdays, I'm talking about inviting to the call. Because when you have the content on your social media and you pair it with the reach outs and the follow ups, all of your content is already speaking for you. Okay. That's what we want. We want your content, like your conversations have already, your people know, like people have all the foundation of what you're about your products, about your business. So now you don't have to have that in your conversations. They already know that. And so now your conversations are simply, how can it be a fit for them? You're not educating people in your messages anymore. So weekly content, and I am going to recommend that we all get back to this. And it's something I started really falling away from. And then my social start, like, I just noticed that, man, when I am not prepared, my content is, it's not connecting because it's just jumbled, right? So I would do this every Sunday night. Okay, what's my plan? What am I going to talk about? What photos do I need to take? What video? Because if I know that I'm going to do a reel tomorrow on, on a product or like talking about the pink drink or something, well, I'm going to video doing my pink drink instead of like grabbing my pink drink and drinking it and then being like, man, I wish I would have videoed that. Like, so it's so much about planning. Um, so I'm going to drop this in our comments in just a minute. So it's a blank one for you. There are also, like if y'all Google a weekly content planner, there's some great ones in Canva. There's great ones that are printable on Google. And then I'm also going to drop this in the comments. This is just a February calendar. This is what I would do. Is literally like take it and be like, okay, I know on tomorrow I want to have a reel. I want to talk about this in my stories, and I want to make a post on both Facebook and Instagram about X, Y, and Z. So then I just put it right on my little box. And so filling out this entire thing really lays out your content because guys, this is free, like free marketing for your business. Like if we really take this and look at, okay, what is the story I'm trying? If I want new business builders, am I telling the story that is going to connect with people looking for what I have to offer? And so this is going to ensure that the things that you want to get across are not falling through the cracks. Okay. Okay, so we're going to jump right into a little bit of work, kind of like a power half hour type of thing. But we'll take just a little bit of time where we're going to plan out our content for the rest of this week and then for next week. Okay, so really for 10 days or so. And I want you to take each of the content pillars and ensure that you have at least one already created. So okay, I'm going to work on personal content. I'm going to, maybe I haven't shared my why in a long time, like why this is personal to me, why this is important to me, why I do this. Because I know, my why is deeply important to me, but have I shared that with my network in a long time? Probably not, right? So I'm going to write a post about that. And then I'm going to schedule what day I'm going to share that. And then I'm going to find or not the graphic, but the picture that's going to go with that post. Promotional content. What am I sharing about Plexus, either the business or the products, with a call to action, um, giving them the next step, and then create purposeful content that's going to add value to your network. And like I said on here, content can look a lot of different ways: posts, stories, reels, lives. You get to be super creative in this, and try different things out because they all connect differently. So I'm going to drop those two graph pictures in the chat, and we're going to take just a few minutes to plan out our content. Okay, and that's going to be the first thing: is plan out your content. You can just write it on a piece of paper if you want, of something every single day. Today is Wednesday, so this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then all next week. So all the way essentially through next Sunday, um, so that you have something. Okay. I'm going to be quiet for a second. And if you want to ask any questions, I'll look at the chat in just a second. But if you want to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself, or talk about something that's worked really great for you. Feel free. We can chat as we plan our content. And one thing to be thinking about next week is the end of the free reset that ends on Saturday the 15th. And so knowing that, that's why I love planning out things because then I can look at like what does corporate have going on, what are the specials or the new things happening. Um, that knowing that that happens on the 15th, for me, I'm going to look at, man, I am going to really start probably on Tuesday the 11th, like for 4 days straight, I'm going to talk about the reset. I'm going to talk all about people's testimonials, things like that. So then that can like really go into, um, sharing. I can unbox my reset on my reel or do it on a live, and I can talk about each thing. So there's lots of different content you can do, that is going to reach people in a lot of different ways. But I wanted to remind you that reset ends, the free one ends on the 15th. So that should dictate kind of the things that we're talking about on our content as well. All right, you guys, I know you're working away. I see your faces. And I see Lindsay's face. I was cracking up because Lindsay's like chewing on her shirt, very intently focused. I was like, you're doing the work, girl. Um, so I know you're probably going to keep working on this. If you've got your content for the week planned out, you can go ahead and then start with writing out each of those pieces, right? And planning out, okay, like I know I need to make this video. I know I need to find a photo that's going to go with this. I need to write this caption, et cetera, et cetera. So start with writing out. I would love for you by the end of tonight. We're not going to stay on necessarily for you to do this, but I would love if you just kept going and by the end of the night you had your content written for at least one of each of those pillars, right? Like one good piece of content written for each of those pillars that you have planned in the next 10 days. And like I said, guys, like your content doesn't have to be like every post doesn't have to be this thoughtful, like brilliant piece of wording and all the things, you guys. The more that you put out there, the more engagement and connection that you're going to have. Okay. So throw things up that are messy. People want to see the messy. In fact, I believe that the thing that actually hurts connection and authenticity is when we think we have to have perfect content to show up. That we have to have, we have to look great. We have to have the filters on. We have to have something brilliant and so valuable to share. Throw that out the window because that actually is what is hurting our connection. So showing up more, showing our faces. We don't have to have brilliant content at all. We just need to have content. We just need to have show up. And so yes, Lindsay, I will share this. I'll actually put the whole thing in the team chats along with the video. Because the beautiful thing is I know social media changes all the time, right? Like the algorithm is always changing, but this doesn't change, right? The content pillars do not change. We just need to really recognize like are we showing up in all of those pieces? And what are our ratios? You guys, my ratio so I was working on this all day and I was looking back at my content and I was literally shocked because when I started scrolling back through my stuff, I was like, oh man, I have missed the mark on so many things. Like my content pillar, I think I'm missing pretty much all of one pillar. And so it's not because I'm not thinking about it. It's that if we're always busy doing things and we're not planned out and intentional, things fall through the cracks. And we think that we're talking about it, but we're not. So this is going to help us by planning out and like giving yourself a full week. Like I just wrote out, I got all the way to Thursday next week. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, even in writing this down, I can see where I'm heavy on one pillar. So really give yourself a good audit on your social media. Go back and look. When's the last time you shared something personal? When's the last time you shared something that added value? When's the last time you talked about the business? When's the last time you made a call to action post with the products? And really see where you lean. We all lean heavy on one side and where we're kind of missing. And then as you're planning it out, make sure that you're getting right? The appropriate, it's kind of like baking a cake, right? It's kind of like, okay, where are we at? I might have all the right ingredients, but if I'm pouring, tons of, I don't even know, you guys, I don't cook, tons of something into something, into the bowl. I was like thinking brownies, but then I'm like, all I know is flour and eggs. I don't know. But if I'm like all the wrong ratios, then it's going to be a disaster and I'm not going to get what I wanted to get. And so, anywho, I hope that this is helpful to really identify, do I have all the ingredients? Do I have the right ratios of them? And then accountability, like keep this printed out, check it off that you did it. Okay. Do a full social, yes, right, Jody? Um, but do a full social media audit of yourself and like, where am I excelling? Where do I really shine in this area, right? Like we all excel in one of these areas, but then where am I like kind of missing the mark and how do I ensure that I do that? And so I hope that this is helpful. And I'm excited because this is the space over the next really week and a half, 2 weeks. I really want you to focus on your content and showing up more. Okay, showing up more. And then we are going to talk about how to grow our audience, how to make new connections, how to get new leads, how to deepen existing connections, and really take them out of this kind of this. I know a lot of times we're stuck in kind of this cycle of conversations. How do we transition them to sales, right? And instead of transaction, how do we actually create transformational conversations? So we're going to talk all about leads. It's going to be so good, but we want to have something amazing on our social media to draw them into as we're going to start bringing in new people into our networks. Okay, guys. So I'm excited for the challenge. I hope you're excited for the challenge. And it definitely is a challenge, right? For a lot of us, this is an area of growth. But we're going to do it together. And any questions that you have, definitely reach out, ask, lean on one another. If you see someone like killing it on their social media, reach out and like talk to them about it, right? Ask them or even give them a word of encouragement. We have some great people on social media on our team. And I go to their stuff and I'm like, what are they doing? I'm learning from all of you. And so definitely look to your sidelines on this team and lean in because we've got some people that are really killing it. And I hope that encourages you because it's simply a skill that we can all learn. And the more that we do it, the easier it's going to get. So I hope this was helpful. I'll go put this on YouTube, and I'll also put these slides, and I'll put it all in the group, in the team chat in just a few. All right, you guys, thanks for doing this alongside me. It was so, so good. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.